and welcome to another episode of Pipples, Parolees, and a Producer. My name is Billy Cooper. I am the executive producer and showrunner for Pipples and Parolees. I am joined by Ms. Tia Torres, the owner, operator, and brains behind the operation of Villalobos Rescue Center and the main lead talent of Pipples and Parolees. Hey, Tia.
Yes. I don't know about brains, but...
Oh, come on. There's lots of plans, always, right?
I was told always have goals, not plans, because plans can be broken.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Learned that out here in the swamp. That's what they told me.
Oh, that's swamp. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So for everyone joining us for the first time, this show is a breakdown of a past episode of Pipples and Parolees. T and I are going to talk about an episode in detail. So this is your spoiler warning. This podcast is about a past episode of Pipples and Parolees. If you have not seen the 6th episode of the first season, we would advise you to do so. Go to Discovery Plus, Roku, Hulu, wherever streaming service you go to use to find the show. Maybe on YouTube. Come back and listen. Better yet, if you've seen the episode and want a refresher, check it out again. Come back. Watch, listen, all the above.
I'm already
You've been
confused.
Warned. Hey, you don't want anybody complaining that we spoiled the episode for them 12 years later.
Sure.
I never saw that episode. You told me about. You guys ruined it.
Okay.
Yeah. Today's episode is okay. I'm going to go with today's episode is brought to you by Chewy. For all of your pet needs, visit chewy.com. Don't forget, orders over $49 gets you free shipping. And while you're there, check out the Villalobos wish lists, right? Is that still there?
I think
Is that
so.
a thing?
I think so. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know. I'm just hoping,
Okay. Me too.
Chewy's not really our sponsor. I just have to. I keep saying it. I'm willing it into existence. I'm putting it out. One of our producers, Dana, likes to say, I'm putting it out in the universe.
Okay. Well, someone's going to call Chewy like today.
Oh, right. I guess that'd be a good thing, right? We can't just wait for them to call us. It's not a don't call us, we'll call you kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, so let's start with the episode description for this particular episode. So Villalobos exists solely on charitable donations. With the economy in the state that it's in, it's getting harder and harder for Tia to make ends meet. So despite the fact that she's loath to leave the shelter for even one night, when a major hotel casino in Las Vegas offers to hold a fundraiser on Villalobos' behalf, Tia makes the trek to Sin City. Before she can leave, however, Tia needs to train a new parolee, adopt a dog to a family that already has one pit bull, and deal with a major crisis with one of her most trusted parolees.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you think? I mean...
Oh, I got dirt on this episode.
Here we go.
I got some dirt. I got some major dirt. Yep.
All right. Stay tuned. Okay. So the title of this episode is called Sin City.
Mm-hmm. I got a sin to tell.
Originally aired December 4th of 2009. All right. Let's jump right in. What do you remember most about filming this particular episode?
Woo. Well, that I was terrified to get on an airplane. And I wanted to drive, and they wouldn't let me because they said, it's got to happen fast. We got to get there. So I remember just being so, I'm terrified to fly, and I don't know why. I've never had like a bad experience. And so even though it was like a 1-hour flight, it was just traumatizing. Yeah.
But wait, okay, hold on. Because I've heard 2 stories about this, because I wasn't around for production. I was only around for post.
I will spill the beans.
I've heard that you actually did not fly, and you drove.
Lies.
You flew.
Yes.
But when you show up at the hotel, you're driving a white pass van.
Okay, so I'm sure they picked me up. I mean, I couldn't walk from the airport.
I know, but like a pass van?
Hey, talk to your production people.
Right?
I'm not a limo kind of gal.
I don't know.
I'm not a limo kind of gal.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I
get car sick.
Okay.
Even when they did pick me up, I had to drive. Yeah.
That's not true. You got out of the passenger. You got out.
Well,
if
normally,
you drove, then you got it. You switched.
I had been known to when I was like living in Sri Lanka, And we had like taxi drivers.
Yeah.
I said, let me drive. And they're like, you can't drive my taxi. I'm like, well, I am. Because I get car sick. I'm going to barf all over your car if you don't let me drive.
That's true. In 12 years, I've been in multiple cars with you. There is one time that I remember. Let's see if you remember that you were a passenger in the car.
I have no idea when that was. I can't believe I allowed it.
We were driving to when you had the Tear Tavern in Chalmette, and we were filming the after show. You remember this?
No, I don't.
And you were late, and we were picking you up, and I had to ride in the back seat with Jethro.
How could I not remember? We didn't film that?
No. This is when Dave. So remember Dave Luce was the co-EP on the show. He and I picked you up. This is when you were living right near the warehouse.
Yeah, I don't know why I was a passenger. I have no idea.
We were late and we didn't have time for you to drive or something. It was like,
I don't know. I would never. I can't believe I allowed that.
But I just remember you laughing so hard because I was in the back seat with Jethro, and it was a little car.
That would make me.
It was a little tiny like SUV, and I was just dying in the back with Jethro getting attacked.
Because you're such a dog person.
Yeah. So anyway, so sorry. Okay, so back to you flying. So you were terrified to fly. How did this happen?
Air sick, everything. It was horrible. Yeah.
What is it about flying? Because
I don't know.
In the time since. Yeah.
I have to be hypnotized to find out. I don't know. I have no idea why. I can't even go to an airport. I can't even hear like the engines of an airplane at the airport. I start getting like dry heaving.
Wow. I know, because there's been a lot. I mean, it made our lives very difficult over the years in production. You not flying, you having to drive everywhere. But yeah, so.
Yeah, no, I can't do it. I mean, I've had to do it a few times. You know, the other time I flew was when we get to the Otis episode. I had to fly up to Northern California, and that was brutal. Barfed my brains out the whole way. It was an hour flight.
Right,
and it's more from fear than it is from being actually airsick. I get myself so worked up. Yeah, so I don't know. But I mean, I've been. I went to LAX once, and when I actually went for Otis. And then I went to LAX with Mikey D. And as soon as we got there, and I'm hearing the engines of the planes flying over, and we're in the park and ride, and I'm dry heaving, like right there in the parking lot.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. So
pretty brutal.
That's how I remember starting off that episode.
So another thing in this episode was about, the struggles financially Villalobos was going through. The number that was thrown out in this episode in terms of the cost per day that Villalobos was $600 a day.
God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh.
I know the number's higher now. I mean, can you think back to when it was only $600 a day?
Yeah. Wow.
Like simpler. I mean, everyone talks about simpler times.
Wow. It's like 10,000 a day now.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
Hence the reason we're doing this, to try and keep raising money, giving people something for their donations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Before you start drive heaving on that question, I'm going to move on to the next.
No shit, man. Wow. Thanks for reminding me, though.
I know. Sorry. Speaking of fear, the other thing that comes up quite a bit in this episode is Tanya talking about her stage fright.
Oh, my gosh. She still has it.
Which is, I mean, I remember coming on the show as a producer and asking the showrunner at the time, Andrew, who's sitting 10 feet away from you over there. I was like, wait a minute. One of the main talent on the show, one of your main people that we do interviews with, is afraid to be on camera. Terrified. How does that work?
Terrified.
Yeah. It's
no
crazy.
Public speaking, just terrified. Yeah.
I mean, how does that ultimately, at some point you and Tanya had to have a conversation like, Tanya, I get it. You're afraid of everything, but this is a camera.
Well, it was rough because you had, so first of all, you had the twins who didn't even want to be on the show. Oh my God.
Let
me turn my phone off because otherwise employees are going to keep bugging me. So you had the twins who don't want to be on TV. Okay.
Well, or else you said in the first season, they didn't even know there was a show.
Yeah. They didn't really care.
Right.
So, they just didn't care. And then Tanya, who definitely did not want to be on because she was terrified to talk. You know? I think what made it a little bit easier is that it was in our house, it was on our property, so it made it a little bit easier. Mariah was better at it because she had her experience as doing all these little beauty pageants, so she was like natural.
But in the early days, she was in high school. She was in high school. She had to go to school.
Right. And that being said, though, Mariah had no. She didn't want to be like an actress or anything, so she didn't. Even though she was good speaking on the show, she didn't do it because she wanted to be on TV someday, no pun intended, or be in a movie. She just did it because her mom told her to.
Right.
There was myself, which Andrew will attest to, with my cheery personality. It was a win.
Right. Right. Yeah. No one knew what they were getting themselves into when it came time to produce this show.
Yeah. Yeah, we were all.
That was what ultimately, nobody wanted to do it, which is what made it real, made it authentic and true.
We were all just.
It's like you guys were, right? You weren't performing; you were just your true selves, and that was it.
It was that or open a brothel in Nevada.
Speaking of Nevada, yeah, exactly. So this was also the final episode of the season, and I think, if I remember correctly, this was also the Vegas trip was one of the last things shot for the season, right?
I don't remember.
Sort of. And so, as this show finished filming, did you think, okay, we'll do that again? Or you didn't know? Or what was the sort of, because this was it at this point, you did 6 episodes, this was it, right?
Yeah, we didn't know what was going to happen afterwards.
Did you think, okay, we could do that again? Or it was like, oh,
no,
forget this.
I just thought it was going to be a one-hit wonder.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I was just whatever happens.
So let's talk about the standout storylines from this episode. So this episode featured an appearance on KTLA, which is a local Channel 5 affiliate here, with Tanya and Mondo taking Gypsy, Bruce, and Junior. What do you remember about those dogs? Gypsy wasn't Gypsy a Katrina dog?
No. Yeah. Junior, my God, Junior just passed away not too long ago. We had him a long time.
Wow.
Yeah. And the other two end up getting homes.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay. So then obviously this is also, as this episode featured, the Brandon Bond Trailer Park Rescue, who Bond, I remember, made the trek to New Orleans, and he became a very close became one of Earl's favorite dogs, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember.
No. What happened? Do you remember what happened to Bonds? He got adopted. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Did Earl adopted? No, Bond got a home.
Bond got a home. Earl adopted Pee-wee.
Yeah, but I was trying to think. No, Earl adopted another white dog, but it was Justice that Earl adopted. But yeah, so Bond got a home.
Right.
Yeah.
And then this also featured the Angus adoption with Lacey and Pibbles, with Pibbles ultimately getting a home, and then Tanya sort of really stepped it up in during the home check. This also featured a new parolee hire, Tony, who you hired for maintenance work, and then he ultimately lets 2 dogs loose.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Oh God, that scene was rewatching that scene was
and
like,
it was not, as fake as everybody thinks. It's like, oh my God, they had to have. Nope. That's how he really was. That was not fake. Yeah.
And then ultimately, this also featured the Vegas fundraiser, like we've discussed, and then this also featured Jake getting arrested, which was not a great moment. But okay, so all of those, not one of Jake's finest moments. But so for you, what was the standout storyline in this episode?
That there was a lot of hot messes behind the scenes.
Oh, meaning what?
I shouldn't say hot messes. Well, hot messes, but like here's something weird. The trailer that Brandon and I had to break into.
Yes.
It turned out that we found out that the owner of those dogs was actually a very nice guy. We found the owner. Very nice guy. Very sweet guy. But he was missing.
Oh.
And we ended up, I can't remember if we got an email or a phone call from his family, but they never found him. Ever. Again. Ever.
Wow. Oh.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
He became a missing persons.
Huh.
Yeah, never.
I mean, well, thankfully you guys got the dog. I mean, you and Brandon got the dog.
It was, but they, the family never heard from him again. So of course they don't think he's alive anymore. But it's just a mystery. Like no one knew what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the area? I mean, for everybody that doesn't, I mean, you talk about it in the episode that there was a lot of tweakers and a lot of drugs and sort of homeless people in that area where that trailer park was.
It's just like the high desert. A lot of them in the desert areas, you get people that go off and do drugs. Sometimes it's just a remote area. But he was like I said, everybody who talked about him said he was such a nice, sweet guy. He may have fallen into drugs. I don't know, but it became a missing persons story.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
all right. So which of those stories is your standout?
I'm not done.
Oh, you're not done. Okay. All right. Keep going. What else we got? We got more tea to spill. Is that it?
Oof. What was the other one you said? The Vegas thing. The what else? Or something else?
Jake gets arrested. Tony gets hired.
Yeah. Did it come out on the show that Jake stole AJ's motorcycle? That's the bike he was driving when he crashed it. I don't know if that ever came out.
No, that actually did not come out. It was. I mean, he said he was on arrest. That he was on a motorcycle and he had a gun. Mm-hmm. He had a gun charge, but he didn't say. Did he get charged with a stolen motorcycle?
No, we didn't report it stolen. We didn't know until it happened. I'm like, wait, what? So he took AJ's motorcycle.
Fun.
Yeah, whatever. And then on the Las Vegas thing, we didn't get all the donations that we were supposed to get. We didn't get a lot of the donations we were supposed to. Yeah, you didn't know that little fun fact.
So the big fat check didn't cash?
Yeah, check bounced.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's some tea right there.
That's some tea. Yeah. I'm not sure where it went. But it's, I'm not sure where the communication fell apart, but I'll tell you, it is definitely one of the reasons why we stopped being a part of fundraisers that we did not have complete control of. Yeah.
Okay. So big lesson learned. Yeah.
We get a lot of people that say, we want to put on a fundraiser for you. And my says, you know what? I am not letting you use us to make you money.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So ever since then, we've been super diligent about when, someone will send us an email and say, hey, true story, there's these ladies in Florida who are using your name to put on a fundraiser. And it turned out they ended up keeping the money. They just used our name, So, yeah. So for all of you who have emailed in the past and asked if you could do a fundraiser, this is why we don't.
Right. Cautionary tale. Yeah.
We keep control of our own fundraisers.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the big first in this episode, was it was the fundraiser. This is the first time the Villalobos' finances became a sort of theme of an episode, which gets revisited.
And we were brokered when we went there because we came back with nothing, a big cardboard check.
And you're out, right? Big cardboard check and out flights and things and what? Yeah, I mean, it was but I mean, it's interesting because over the years, Villalobos' finances became a theme that we had to we kept revisiting. Right. But again, like we didn't want to revisit it because we didn't want to keep banging I think it was you even said, I don't want to keep begging for money. Yeah. Like you don't want people to get sick of hearing it.
Right. Gloom and
you
doom.
even said that. Yeah. It's just sort of like people want to know that you're just sort of doing okay. But when there's a need, that's when you sort of.
It's a tough balance being a nonprofit because you do rely on the donations from the public. Okay. So you do have to ask for them. So when you ask for them, are you asking too much or you're not asking enough?
Right.
So, I try to balance that, on social media. People want uplifting stories. They want to know their donations are going to, to what you say they are. They want to know that they helped. So you do have to, and this is like advice I give to other nonprofits, because like we get people that ask us, like, how do we do it? What do we do? I said, don't be asking for money every day. I know you need it every day. I know I need it every day, but people just get tired of it. They want to see some happy stories. They want to see success with whether it's adoptions or whatever. So you do have, like I said, keep that balance.
And I think, as we're talking about this in particular, what we're doing right now was an idea that you had because you wanted people to get something in return. Their donations now. I
mean, technically, you're not supposed to get something like tangible in return, but being able to use this platform to to raise donations, but in return they're getting we're giving them like the message, kind of thing.
Right.
So again, you have to abide by like the IRS guidelines.
Sure.
There's a lot.
Sorry.
Yeah. So there's a lot. It's not like make a donation, I give you a free car. You can't do that.
No. Sure.
So my way is just at least putting my words out there and allowing people to still see what's going on for their for their donation.
Yep. Okay. Well, I mean, I think we've touched on this. Looking back at this episode, is there anything you would have done differently?
Oh, come on. Yeah. Never went to Sin City.
Well, I mean, is it one of those things where in hindsight, if you could have organized the fundraiser yourself, maybe would have done that? Would you have? Because I still think it was the fundraiser itself. There was a movie, right? There was a documentary that they were showing.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know where the breakdown in communication went. I just know that. Oh, over here. I just know that didn't end up with us. But yeah, I mean, I know the actual event was successful.
Yeah.
I know it was amazing that Brandon Bond was able to get like all that stuff, like get the room and everything. I mean, that took a lot of coordinating. So that was pretty amazing. But I don't know. I said, I'm just not, it's very difficult for me to go out in public. Like I put on a good game face. I admit it. I do. I'm when I'm out in public, I'm like, oh, hi. And I'm just dying because I want to just go home. I want to, I'm a hermit. I don't really like going out in public a lot. So, that part, like I said, I took one for the team, and then plus I'm not a city person. Like, oh my gosh, like going to Las Vegas, I was like, oh my God.
But you had been in Vegas previously, like, just a couple months earlier when you got married.
Thanks for reminding me, Billy. Thanks for reminding me of that. Yes. Yeah. But, as the years went on and the more attention came from the TV show, my being a recluse got worse and worse and worse. Back then, this is season 1. So it wasn't too bad for me.
Sure.
I'd always lived in a very rural area, so being in a city, although overwhelming, back then it wasn't like traumatizing. Now it's traumatizing because I just, I don't like going out in public. And I don't mean so much, it's not even just the public, it's just going out into a bigger area. I live in a very, very small little area. As you know, I come down that road and I'm like, oh my gosh. I come down my road and I do this. I look to the right, I look to the left. I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to go back home. So.
And then I'm texting you. We need to record a podcast.
Yeah. So that's probably it. I just probably wouldn't have done a big fundraiser in the middle of a big, huge city.
Yeah. I mean, is there any part of you that, regretted hiring Tony? I mean, like he didn't last very.
No, he is what he is.
Yeah,
he was just a goofy dude who didn't think he did anything wrong. He's like, what? What do you mean? I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Jake. I don't know what Jake was thinking. And when I asked him, he said he didn't even know.
Yeah.
I said, why'd you have a gun on you? You got like I said, I said, please tell me, were you gonna like rob a bank? No. Were you gonna like shoot somebody? No. Why'd you have a gun? I don't know.
I mean, Jake was, came from a very nice family. You were friends with his his mom, right? And
very good mom.
So he wasn't like gangster, like Jake was just a nice kid who like wanted to.
Yeah, Jake was very intelligent, like so smart. Holy, this guy knows everything about everything. He's very, 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 very intelligent.
Right.
So, but he's also, he's very spirited. He's got that wild hair, he does. So I think this, one day he said, fuck it. I'm just going to jump on a bike and go fast with my gun. I really don't think there was anything major thought behind it. I think he just wanted to go do it. I don't think he didn't plan on getting caught and didn't plan on crashing into a telephone pole.
He crashed into a telephone pole?
Yeah.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, mangled the bike, yeah. So
that I remember. I mean, I for some reason I thought it was one of the twins' bikes. But I guess that
bright yellow bike. So yeah, I think he just got a wild hair up his ass and just decided to go rogue for a minute.
Yeah.
It happens. It happens.
All right. So I have to stick with our format. So you didn't pick a standout story. So I'll start.
Okay.
I actually think the standout story, believe it or not, from this episode was Jake. I think Jake getting arrested because Jake became, for the next, from the time he came back in season 2 till when he left many, many seasons later, Jake became such a vital, important part of the framework of the show and such a trusted person, and I think this, in a weird way, him doing this really sort of changed his, I think he actually learned from this mistake. Maybe.
Yeah, because he never messed up again. He went on to get married to a really nice lady, and he started his own pit bull rescue in North Carolina. So he did.
All right, so our MVP and P. So our most valuable pit bulls. So we only got 2 in this one. I got Pibbles or Bond. What do you got?
Both. Pibbles survived Katrina. I mean, they both came from bad situations, and so they both survived bad situations, and both went on to get homes. Can't ask for more than that.
Yeah. All right. So our nominations for most valuable person of the episode, I got Tanya, Mondo, Jake, and then an outside, our outside dark horse, no pun, Brandon Bond.
He is a dark horse. I don't know. I can't remember that far back. Maybe I should watch these episodes.
Wait, you don't watch the?
I did like 15 trillion years ago.
I know. Well, I do the show prep, so you don't have to do the show prep. Why would I want to watch old
episodes when I'm younger and skinnier?
Well, we talk about them.
Yeah, but I don't have to look at myself.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do the show prep, so you don't have to do the show prep, in hopes that I can jog your memory, whatever it may be. I mean, in this case, I'm actually gonna give a shout. I think I gotta give a shout out to Tanya.
Actually,
Tanya really.
That's who I was gonna say too, because she struggled. She struggled to get through because of these episodes, because it was hard for her to film. Season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's that moment. I mean, again, this was one of the. I think we were talking about this on the phone yesterday. We actually were talking about what were when I came onto the show as a producer. There are moments that crystallized the show for me in terms of how we were going to tell the story and how ultimately the show could move forward. And there's that moment at the fundraiser where Tanya, you say, "I love my kids, all their tattoos, they are who they are," and Tanya yells right back, "I love you, Mom."
Yeah, that's what makes me cry.
And it's like, and it's one of those. I was like, wait a minute, this show isn't just a dog show. It's not just a parolee show. I said, this show, it's a snapshot of you and your family in terms of the world that you live in. And I thought I saw this show and I was like, okay, this can go for a long time, because you guys were such a unique, interesting family, but so relatable.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Exactly. All right. So that brings us to our last episode of season 1 of Pitbull's Parolees and a Producer. Tia, any plugs, anything you want to talk about? What's coming up?
I just can't wait for us to get our online platform up and going. We have some amazing show ideas where you are literally going to be able to watch like a series, but online. These are all the things that especially Billy and I, and now Andrew, have been beating our head against the wall trying to get some of these other networks to pick up on these ideas. And finally we said, screw all of you, we're doing it ourselves. And so, and also these show ideas are all real. Every single one of them are real. There's nothing staged. There's nothing fake. There's no bullshit. It's all real. And they're going to be able to watch it through our new production company, which is Early Release Media, a nonprofit production company. By the way, got an email today saying that it is legit. So, so we're getting closer to the final steps of that, and also on the Rabid Reality, network, which is it's kind of, what do I say? It's kind of like our Netflix, which is what the Rabid Reality is, and everything that viewers will be contributing for goes through the Patreon platform, which is all to the nonprofit. So it's kind of like there's various ways they're going to be able to view what we do, and it all goes to the dog rescue. Every single penny they put through to this. So they're going to supporters are going to be able to see different parts of our lives, different things that we enjoy. It may not just be rescue related, dog related, prison related, but it's other things that encompass what we do, that we enjoy. Mariah's, going to have her own little series. Earl and TC, by the way, I got the thumbs up from Earl. Finally, I told him, hey, by the way, you and TC are going to have your own show. I just thought I'd let you know. So it's going to be the things that all of us enjoy, other than just the dogs. There's more to us.
Yeah. As always, this episode of Pitbulls, Parolees, and a Producer is produced by the other producer, Candace Cobett, sitting over the Tia's right side there. This episode of Pitbulls, Parolees, and a Producer is a Rabid Reality podcast. For more shows like this, as Tia just mentioned, check out therabidreality.com. Also available on Tia's Patreon account, if those of you who can spell Patreon.
That's so true. But you know what? All this information is on my website.
Right.
tiatorres.dog. How do you forget that one?
There it is.
tiatorres.dog, right? Or the Villalobos website. So there's all kinds of ways to find us. We are going to whore ourselves out.
All right, Tia. Yeah. We just finished the first leg of our long journey. So we have gotten to the first rest stop. We finished season 1.
Yes.
We only got 19 more to go.
All right, Andrew, it's all on you now. We did our part.
Thanks, everybody. All right, Tia, see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.